Okay, it is time to wrap up the farm irrigation install series. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today. It is a beautiful, beautiful February day in 2020. So we're here today, it's February 15th, 2020, and we have completely finished our farm irrigation installation. Now, of course, this is just the first part. There's additions that we're gonna need to do here over time, but the primary orchards have water running to them and the system is on and functioning. So what I wanted to do for you guys today is just kind of show you what the results were and how we're looking as far as water is concerned. So let's look at the first thing, and that would be right here, the beginning of it all, where we have water coming onto the farm. So you can see we have our vacuum breaker here, and you can see with the ball valves here that they're engaged, which means we have water to the property and to the irrigation system. So we have our filter here. Don't need to really probably show you how to use that, but in the end, we do have a ball valve here. So this is ready to go. It's actually already filtering the water as it's going out onto the farm. And then of course we have our pipe here, our irrigation pipe going down. Now we will come back to this. We are gonna have to make sure we come back and put some insulation on these pipes, particularly the plastic. We just wanna make sure that when we have our hard freezes, which we do get out here, so we get down to about 20 degrees where we're at out here in Whitman. So we want to make sure when that happens, we do have something to insulate these pipes. Now, we don't normally irrigate much when we have our winter months and we have those cold days. However, we do want to make sure that we still have water running because of course we have a couple of spigots that are on this main line. So we do want to make sure that we continue to have water available to us out in those main lines. Either way, you can see these are engaged, which means we have water out to this irrigation area. So next thing let's take a look at, let's go ahead and take a look at the controller because we just got that set up today. Here we are at the controller. This is our Hunter Pro HC Wi-Fi controller. We just got this set this morning. George was back this morning to get everything set up, test all the lines to make sure we had water running to all the lines. And what's really cool about this is I've got an app on the phone. I'm gonna test it out when we're out there to see if I can get one of these to come on remotely. But either way, obviously fully programmable. This particular one has got 24 different stations on it. So we have plenty of room for expansion. Right now we've got 12 stations set up. We actually only have 11 valves. So in the end, we got plenty of room to expand. We did that on purpose because we know how we are. We always wind up adding additional irrigation, and we've already started talking about that. Either way, very easy, 100% digital, so very, very easy to control, very easy to turn on manually, and then of course, very easy to set up as far as timers are concerned. Now, one of the things that we didn't do, you can also have an optional flow meter. We considered that and decided not to go with it initially. The flow meter does connect to this system and it can help alert you if you have open valves, etc., because of course it does meter your flow. So, but there's also a couple things already kind of set up in here where you can kind of see your usage. And so once we get this figured out, we'll come back to it, show you a little bit more detail on this. However, this one's ready to go and up and running. Okay, so here we are, we're actually at the furthest point away from the well on our main line. So now the main line terminates just behind me here, and this is a 1.5 inch line because we're going so far away from the tank. And actually, as far as linear footage, I think we're right at about 600 feet or so from the tank, might be a little more than that actually. And you're gonna get an idea of just what kind of water flow we have. But showed you this in the last video, so we have this here that we're gonna attach to the valve and give you an idea of the water flow that we have coming out of this furthest point on the main line. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so really simple as far as attaching this. Basically, it just goes in like this and slides around. You can see super, super easy to attach. And then as far as flow, let's take a look here. Plenty of water flow coming out of that. I mean, that's a steady, steady stream. And I'm watering the desert pretty well. But actually the flow coming out of here is actually stronger than the flow that's coming out of the hose bib with the water going directly into the house. So that line that goes into the house from our tank, actually the water pressure there is lower than it is out here. So plenty of water pressure coming out through our main lines. Okay, so here we are. We're still in basically that same area. I'm about 15 feet from the corner of the main line. And here we are at actually one of our irrigation lines. So this particular one, we have 24 trees on this zone, and I've taken the cap off of my 1/2-inch riser. Now what's kind of cool is we're gonna see whether or not this Wi-Fi works, because I need to see if I can turn this valve on remotely. So I'm gonna step back, assuming we're gonna get water, and let's take a look at the water flow out of this valve. Definitely think we're gonna have plenty of pressure for all of our emitters. So here we are, we're actually on the other side of the farm. So this run here is a little bit shorter. In fact, I'm looking at the tank here. It's a couple hundred feet away. So the main line that comes through here is actually 1 1/4 inch. So what I wanted to show you is give you an idea of the flow we still have through a 1 1/4 inch line. So that first one you saw was 1 1/2 inches. This is 1 1/4 inches. So let's go ahead and get this connected. And let's see what kind of flow we have coming out of a 1 1/4 inches. Still plenty of flow. I mean, I'll tell you what, that's probably exactly the same as it was on the other side. So plenty of water here on this corner. And this is the one we showed you before. So we have our livestock acre right over here where we're gonna keep our pigs, goats, and our sheep. So we got this area there. We're gonna continue to run this line back to the end of the farm. So obviously gonna have plenty of water flow with this 1 1/4 inch main. Okay, so to wrap up, you can see we got all this done. We actually finished it in 4 days. I think in the end, we're looking at about 6,000 linear feet of pipe that we put into the ground. We've got a couple of extensions. We've got a couple of lines that have come out here and dead end that we're gonna continue to extend down to the end of the farm. We got plenty of water flow to all of our mainline areas. Really excited to see just how strong the water flow and pressure is coming out of those 1 1/2 and 1 1/4 inch lines. So definitely plenty of pipe size for the farm itself. Easily going to be able to get that water back to every corner of the property, and we're probably about 2/3 of the way there. And then of course you're taking a look down one of our orchard rows. So we've got 36 trees behind me here that will be going in. On the other side of the farm we have 36 trees going there. I forget the count on the citrus up at the front of the house, and we haven't even touched the grapevines or the back of the property yet. So we got a whole lot going on. Now of course the biggest challenge for us now, because we want to get to planting. We're here in the middle, heading towards the end of February here in the next week or so. And you know Lori and I, we want fruit trees in the ground as quickly as possible. So of course the challenge for us now is we've got the irrigation in, but we can't plant a thing until we keep them safe from cattle. So of course fencing, that's our next big project. But you know what? We at least have water. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Questions or comments, leave those in the comments section down below. Instagram and Facebook, we post content there you won't see here on the YouTube channel. And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That's a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with that link, it doesn't matter what you buy, it helps us support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. See, we have our and probably a good 350 to 400 feet from the property line. No, so we're probably a good, oh actually it's longer than that because we got to go back to the main. So that's 150, so 450, 600 feet. Okay, now here we are, we're actually just east. I'll try that again. We're actually here, so we're actually about, you go ahead and stop it. All right, we good? I'm trying to do the east one.
No, these are west.
Yeah, let me stop that. What about west 2?
West 2.
That